Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and the patch notes are out for what looks to be one of the largest balance patches in Hearthstone history, with changes to standard, wild, twist. It's unprecedented, it's awesome, and we have all the official changes now, so we can go over all of that, as well as some dev insight as we go along. I want to announce the 2 giveaway winners for our legendary Cthulhu Portrait Bundle. They've been contacted. If I haven't heard back from them in 24 hours, I will message new winners, and as always, we'll have more giveaways in the future. There'll be mega bundles and standard bundles, I think, coming up in the next month or so when the next expansion announcement comes. So thank you all again so much for your support as we're moving on to the next 1,000 goal, as we always do. But anyways, let's take a look at the patch notes, the official changes, all that, starting with standard. And there were dev comments I'll try and sprinkle in as we go along here, to basically the reasoning for the changes. But Movement of Pride, part of Symphony of Sin. So Symphony of Sins is getting nerfed, but it's not going to 6. It's Movement of Pride is changing. Basically, as you know, it would draw your highest cost minion, reduce its cost by 6. Now it's just any minion. It could be an armor vendor. It could be a tour guide. It could be literally whatever's in your deck. There's no reliable way to tutor Sargeras unless it's the only minion in your deck. I wish it was like restricted to like draw a minion that costs 4 or 5 or more, so that like it doesn't feel so bad if you hit like a 1-drop. It's gonna feel really rough. I hope it doesn't make Symphony unplayable, but yeah, this does get rid of that high roll Sargeras, which is what they were looking for. Like the dev comments said, that, you know, it just feels really bad to face a 3-mana Sargeras. And not only does it feel really bad, you just lose the game. Let's be real. It's a power outlier as well. Mechro gets hit with Coppertail Snoop, which surprisingly isn't just losing an attack. Sadly, it's not going to 4 mana, in my opinion, but it's going to a 3/2. It's losing its attack and a health, so it does get that mana cheat in there with the coin, but the burst and the stats of it are significantly less, which is a rather large nerf. When you're taking 2 stat points off a card, that is usually very impactful, so look out for that. But yeah, no Sparkbot changes to Rogue or anything like that, so Mech Rogue still gonna be pretty darn strong. Mage again gets hit. Spite Lash Siren, have we been here before? It's going back to a 5 mana 2/6. This nerf happened before, it got reverted. I doubt it changes again until maybe it goes back to wild and comes full circle. But yeah, this is more of a high level play pattern thing, as mentioned by the devs. Just felt like a bad play experience. Well, it's a really bad play experience at High Legends. It's like a top tier deck and just super solitary OT King with Sith. You can still do that at 5 mana. It just slows it down a touch, which hopefully will be able to make the difference. But honestly, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see this one. The nerf was effective the first time. I'm not entirely sure it will be as effective the second time. Starstrung Bow, and by the way, no Reverberations nerf. Again, that card somehow staying in a Titan Colossal meta as is. So yeah, Reverberations still gonna be punishing those large minions. A Starstrung Bow goes from 6 attack to 5 attack, lowers the damage output of the card. It was noted in the dev comments that Hunter's still performing really strong, and a lot of the decks that were good against it, particular Warrior and Warlock, are getting nerfs. So they wanted to also adjust something with the deck, and they've already nerfed so much that they're going to hit that. I will note that the Celestial Shot that I said was getting nerfed in yesterday's video isn't. It's actually sanitized for Warrior. The images just looked similar in the preview graphic. My apologies. Sanitized for Warrior, going to 5 mana. So Even Warrior players, very sad. It was really nice in Even Warrior and Wild, but really busted card. I think this still sees play at 5. It is really, really strong. And Warrior's doing incredibly well, and a lot of their worst matchups are getting nerfs. So they really had to adjust Warrior, as much as I don't think they wanted to. I can confirm they didn't want to, but the numbers are just like, Warrior is just, it's so good. And for nerfing everything that's good against Warrior, which they're doing, people were going to start complaining, and I've already seen the complaints about Warrior being too good. So yeah, they also nerfed Craftsman Hammer, basically just taking an armor off each swing. It's 3 armor per swing, not after your hero attacks or anything like that, which I saw a lot of suggestions for. So 2 Warrior changes. Both I don't think kill either of the cards. I don't think Warrior's murdered like it was before. It's just like, if they don't touch it, we're going to be in a pretty dominant warrior meta. Like the deck is really strong. They're nerfing so many things that contest it. I'm gonna say that I don't think they killed Warrior here. Like I said, they killed Warrior last July or June when they did with all those changes like Shield Shatter and all of that. This one was added late, right after I made our video yesterday. The Lasher card, the Mana Cheat card for Druid, is going from a 2-mana 3/2 to a 3-mana 3/3. So you gotta spend 3 mana to refresh that too. So that makes it a lot less flexible and a lot less like Mana Cheat, really, right? That card was creating pretty bad play patterns in both Standard and Wild, and I'm glad to see getting hit rather quickly. I just don't even understand why the card was made, to be honest with you. This is a big one. This is a big one. Auctioneer is being removed from Standard. You cannot play Auctioneer, and it's also getting nerfed for Wild and Twist, going from 6 mana to 7 mana. And basically the dev comments on Auctioneer was like, every time Auctioneer pops up, it's some degenerate deck, and right now it's enabling a turn 5 OTK in Standard, and regardless of win rate, they said they just don't want that style of deck to be able to exist in Standard. That is a consistent thing they've done, and I completely agree with the change. Even if Druid might be looking like it could still be very problematic, this is a very necessary change. And the 7 mana for Wild and Twist, it kind of feels bad because like Miracle Rogues is kind of cool and fine at 6 mana Auctioneer, but in Wild we all know Tony Druid and all of that, it's a problem, and there's more to go with that as well. For standard buffs, we have Down with the Ship, Tomb Trader, and Frost Queen Syndragosa, basically all becoming single rune cards. So the plague cards will be Unholy. Frost Queen will just be a frost card, meaning that, yeah, you can play triple Unholy Plague, and you can play Frost Queen in triple Frost, and kind of them saying, yeah, the multi-rune stuff, not working great, as you can still play these in the multi-rune decks as they're 1 rune on them, like you play it in Rainbow, but you're not forced to anymore. So more flexible and more just signs that that rune system's not going great. Gears Tears, which I didn't see in the preview post, basically has been changed so you resurrect 3 different minions from your class rather than Paladin, mainly so that when you get this card randomly, it's playable and not a completely dead card. Tyrion goes to an 8/8. I don't think that has a big impact in Standard, but possibly in Twist. JARAXXUS, finally. 8 mana. I'm just so happy. 8 mana JARAXXUS. You get hero power on 10. Does he make it Standard relevant? I don't know, but it's a really cool change that I'm happy to see. Next, we have the Wild nerfs with Spirit of the Frog getting gutted. It's going to 5 mana. That whole Frog Miracle deck with Flash Lightning, way slower, very big deal. Very happy to see it. Firemancer Flurgle also goes to 4 mana. Big deal as well. Toxfin Flurgle costs 5 mana now, and it's still a 2/3. So yeah, that is a very significant change. Scargill only goes to 5 mana, so you could still go Clownfish into 3 mana Scargill into 1 mana Murloc. So I'm kind of worried that could still allow this to be a thing where all of a sudden your Flurgle's back to 1 mana, but I'm hoping it's enough. I wish they would have made Scargill like 6 just to play it safer, but we'll see how it plays out, and I hope it's not still the same scam stuff from Shutterwalk, which we have seen for so long. Adolescence goes from 6 to 7 mana. I really wish they banned Illuminate or did something along that line, making that high roll worse, but slowing down Big Priest is nice and all, and it's not like an oppressive, like really good deck. It just feels absolutely terrible to face. Probably why it got nerfed a little bit, but again, not murdered. If you still want to play Big Priest, you still can. And Cabal Lackey, the next secret you play this turn costs 1 now instead of 0, which allows for basically less power level, especially going first. You play that with like Rigged Fair Game, can be just game winning, absolutely devastating. Now you have to like have the coin to get that secret out. So that is a very nice change to see for sure. Mech Warper straight up banned in Wild. They banned it. So it's only playable in Twist. It's still, I guess, not even Duels, because it's banned in Duels too. It's a pretty problematic card. Maybe we should rework it. But for now, it is straight up banned, as well as Tony, King of Piracy, is banned. Want to do the whole Tony Druid thing, you got to use Togwoggle now, which is 8 mana, ruins the whole tutoring of Capture Coldtooth Mine of your Auctioneer, which is now 7 mana. So hopefully Tony Druid is finally dead in terms of it just not being competitive, and you're just gonna be memeing around now like Mark would or something like that. So those are the wild changes, and then we have the twist changes, which do impact wild. In particular, the first few changes here of discard Warlock. Chamber of Viscidus going from a 2-mana 3 durability location to a 3-mana 2 durability location. So only draws 4 cards, 2 charges. Way worse. They actually had to change 2 numbers on this card to try and get it to be the point of maybe balanced, and it might still be good. But that's not all they're hitting on discard Warlock, as Dark Bargain is going from 3 mana to 4 mana, making that a lot slower. And who had that on their bingo card at the start of the year? Dark Bargain getting nerfed. I mean, come on. And Tiny Knight of Evil getting nerfed to +2/+1 instead of +2/+2. As I thought, not a full revert because it is a reprint. They want it to be better, but at least it's still as vulnerable health-wise, so it's easier to kill if it tries to snowball. So that's a big deal. Still gonna be a really good card. You could still probably fully revert it, but they haven't done that. Blast from the Past goes from 3 mana to 4 mana for Warrior. Makes me sad. Really good card. It's probably still good enough at 4, I hope, but yeah, it's one of my favorite new cards, so it kind of makes me sad. But Warrior is such a power outlier. They had to hit it, so you know, it is what it is. In Ivory Rook, it's a very minor change, going from a 4/4 to a 4/3. So the breakpoints change a little bit, but its effect and its mana curve pretty much the same. I don't see this being super impactful, but again, Warrior, Rogue, Warlock, Hunter, all really ahead, so they had to hit stuff. Speaking of Rogue, 3 cards there. Jade Telegram goes from 3 mana to 4 mana, which is welcome. I would have preferred 5 because it's so toxic, but they want it to be remotely playable. Still 2 mana with prep, so that works there. The Scarab Gong from the Scarab Lord goes to 1 health, not a death rattle, but 1 health. So if you want to somehow buff that up and hit it multiple times, you still can. But for the most part, you're just gonna get that 1 swing. Still a really good card, but doesn't feel as bad for your opponent when they have to try and use an AoE, and it just comes right back. Blade of Cthulhu goes from 6 mana to 7 mana, slowing that down a bit, especially the way it works with the Eye Stalk of Cthulhu, buffing that so quickly. Still good card. I think it'll still see play, but yeah, 3 Rogue changes, 3 Warlock, 2 Warrior, and then the 1 Hunter change. Trial the Jormungers goes to 6 mana, making the Dreadscale Acid Maw combo a little bit slower, and also giving the Hunter more time to draw one of those minions to screw that. So I think the twist changes are very welcome, but they also buffed a bunch of stuff too to try and help the other classes a bit as well. With, we already mentioned like Tyrion and JARAXXUS, but Cenarian Hold goes from 2 mana to 1 mana, curves well with the new ramp spell. Dragonfire Potion goes from 6 mana to 5 mana, which is pretty crazy. Maybe it sees play in Wild even now, it's possible. Brawn Dragon's Knight now gets Taunt as well, so that's pretty cool. It doesn't just do nothing, it's not just stats, so maybe that works out. Elemental Destruction only overloads for 2 now, so that's a pretty incredible, crazy AoE if you're going for that slower strat. And Alakir, the Winds of Time, now gives you 8 armor instead of 5. Kind of gets the Ricard treatment of trying to give you more time to play that hero card, since its battle cry just draws cards and doesn't really help you stay alive. So yeah, those are all the changes for Standard. Wild, Twist, I like a lot of them. There's some I don't love, like Symphony of Sins change. I just feel like that's going to feel so bad to draw like a 1-drop, or I guess you high roll Sargeras, you feel kind of good about it. There's also a bunch of Battlegrounds updates. I'll link the patch notes below if you want to take a look. I will also mention that Duels did see some updates with the hero power dino tracking going from discovering a beast, giving it +1 attack, and now gives +1/+1. Starving has been changed so that after the first time a friendly beast dies in your turn, you draw a card. Corrupted Spellstone, after you cast a fell spell, give the left and rightmost minions in your hand +2/+1. And they've updated the treasure pools. Starving is now pool 1. Unlock potential has been moved to ultra rare. They have banned Caverns Below from Duels, which I think a lot of people will be welcome. It's really oppressive in Duels, and I'm glad to see it go. So yeah, bunch of changes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Should be live within the hour, and we'll be streaming it as always, and have our day 1 patch review going over everything tomorrow. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.